All right, KISS Army, welcome to the KissFAQ Podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. This is a KISS-related podcast by the board, for the board. We hope that you enjoy. Welcome to Episode 275 of the KissFAQ Podcast. I'm your host, Julian Gill, admin on the KissFAQ message board. Today I'm joined by 69th Blizzard Ken.
Hey there.
Marcus Almighty Mark.
Greetings.
And maybe when his Skype's finished updating or something, Lonnie might trundle on by. And if not, we'll catch him next time. Anyway, someone posted a comment on, I can't remember whether it was the message board or on YouTube or somewhere, that KISS podcasts are becoming like QVC. So I thought we'd do a quick roundup of some merchandise that's coming your way very soon. First and foremost amongst those is the Rockology presale. Tom, can you make that any more difficult to say? Is coming Saturday, October the 12th, starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Their website is, of course, therockologist.com, and they're going to be issuing an orange vinyl edition of Eric Carr's Rockology. That's the standard edition, limited to 500 copies. And they also have two versions of the Starburst orange, black, and silver vinyl called the Rock Relics version 1, which comes with a shirt card. And that's a little snippet of Eric's shirt from, where was it? MTV Awards.
MTV.
His last public appearance. So it's been chopped up into little pieces to make a little relic card. And they're actually pretty cool. I've seen these before. In fact, I might even just have one.
Look at that. It's prepared.
I do.
KISS have some things like that, right?
Wow.
I was actually even able to find it. I've got one that, this is a drum one. And so the shirt one will be cool. And the second version comes with the drumstick card, and that's like one of his rehearsal drumsticks, a shard of that for your collection. A splinter. Yeah, well, so
wow.
You never believe some of the shit that became relics in Europe in the Middle Ages, so there you go. Saints' arms. Carry the saint's arm into battle. So, getting back on topic, the Relics editions are $79.99, limited to 250 copies each. So you can go over to therockologist.com and order any of those if you're interested. And there's a nice little spinning of the picture of them into the frame for those who are watching. The other release that's just been announced is E1. Is going to do a Record Store Day first release edition of Frelly's Comet Live.
Mm-hmm.
Shock horror. It's also an orange vinyl. I mean, what is it? There's a sale on orange pellets. Mark,
I gotta ask about that.
Halloween
do your
time,
next record in orange.
Yeah.
So this is it's the audio from the live concert that was Live Plus 4 way back when. So 6 songs, Rip It Out, Something Move, Cold Gin, Shock Me, Breakout, and Rocket Ride from Hammersmith Odeon 1988. Six song EP. I don't think they'll fit all of that on one side. I think they said it was 30 minutes of music, but that would be pushing it a little bit.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, still cool for people who collect vinyl. I did see when it got posted by someone, John Regan's like, what's the track listing?
Oh boy.
So hopefully it's still coming out, but I think you could probably be sure that the people who are doing it, E1, know what they're doing and have crossed their T's and dotted their I's, so to speak. All right, so this week is all about a little bit of this and that from the board. There's been quite a few topics flying around, other than the ones I've had to frickin' lock and delete. Get a life, please, people. Stop with that sort of behavior. Behaving like the British House of Commons. Very unacceptably. So we've picked a few topics to go through. I've got a list of the ones that I've suggested, and who knows, maybe one of you have one that you want to add in to the conversation. But I guess first off, Lonnie, if he was here, had been on a cruise, might have an educated opinion about this one. But it's, of course, KISS Kruise in the round. Yay or nay? Do you think it's a positive and negative, and what do you think they are? And you're also allowed to say, I don't care. Ken?
Well, I don't know. I didn't know that it was happening. I guess I didn't see that news. So in the round, you know what? That's different. As far as I know, they've never done it in their career. So why not do it once? I mean, while you're tipping back and forth on a ship and spinning around, maybe they'll all, instead of blood, it'll be barfing off the stage. So from all members, but I think it's kind of cool and different. Maybe that gives a chance for some more people to get up close if they're going to put it in the center somewhere on the ship. And I don't know, is it a different ship than normal that they're using?
No, I should have mentioned this is for the sail away show, so it'll be up on the poop deck.
It could be on the pool.
Yeah, on the pool deck, not the poop deck. Sorry. God, that conversation.
Well, maybe it will be. I don't know, but yeah. So, yeah, I think it's cool that they're trying something different. So it's not the same old. So, why not?
Yeah, and if Lonnie was here, as someone who's been on the cruise and might have had an opinion on that, I just know that I mentioned this yesterday when I was talking with Joe for the Cruise Fest recap. It's become a tradition. The sail away acoustic show, and just the way it's the first day on the boat as the wind goes through your hair as you're starting to leave the dock in Miami. You're chucking back a tequila. They come around and hand out tequilas, and the band is up there doing it. And now they've completely changed it up after 9 years, or I'm not sure on that for a fact, because I think something was different at one point. But at least for the last few, it's become a tradition. I'm also of the mind that it's something good to change things up. Hopefully, it works out for the fans, and maybe Paul gets to sing "What happens when the world goes round." What makes the world go round?
What makes the world go round?
Yeah. Well, personally, if you want my opinion.
We do.
I being somebody who's actually seen a in the round show back in 1991, I saw Yes in the round at the Rogers Center. Oh, actually, it was a Sky Dome back then. Yeah, and I really enjoyed it. Now, what I'm wondering is, are they just doing a in the round basically with like a stationary stage and people are just sitting all around, or is this a stage that's going to be rotating around like Yes's one was? It spun, not fast, but like enough so that people saw it from every angle, got a glimpse of the band, which I thought was a fantastic idea when they did that, right? So I think that it's a good idea, because what is the complaint that most people have with shows in general is, I didn't get to see them from this angle, or my seats were garbage, or some people said my seats are great. This way you have the opportunity to have a better view of them at least a couple times within the show. So I think it's a good idea. I'm just curious on how they're going to be doing it. Is it going to be just a stationary stage, or is it going to be actually rotating?
Yeah,
I would assume it would rotate. I would assume.
With KISS, I wouldn't assume anything. You might be looking at Eric's ass the whole show.
They can make it look like what, Mark? They can make it look like a big round, a turntable. Make it look like a turntable, and do that kind of thing, and they're playing their music.
Rock and Roll Over logo there.
That's the turntable.
There you go.
You got it. Hey, we got it.
Yeah, so look at that.
That'll be interesting. I left all the cruise groups after I decided that I was never doing a cruise again. So I just don't keep up or even follow it now. Well, no, there was also a lot of bitchiness in some of these groups that I was in. And I'm like, I've got the FAQ. I don't need it everywhere I go to be, and to not be able to wield a band hammer. It's like total different thing for me. If I'm in another environment that I have no control of, it's like, I'm out of here. So I do understand how some people may feel sometimes when they come over to the board. All right, so there's a whole bunch of other ones. Which KISS to play Shark Boat off South Australia.
There you go.
Mark, thoughts on that? Are you into torturing wildlife?
Not particularly. That's one of the things I was kind of a little bit unsure about. What exactly are they implying there? Like, are they actually playing on some sort of a ship out in the middle of the ocean?
I'm not sure if I'd call it a ship. That's stretching the broadness of the definition. It's a boat with, I think, a see-through bottom.
And speakers pumping the music down into the water, right?
Yeah,
really,
essentially. And you got someone who sounds like Steve Irwin. All right,
whale
mate.
Sounds.
Crikey! Those sharks are getting feisty today. Throw another KISS fan in.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what the whole
feed the sharks.
Like, what's the whole thing behind it? Like, what's the whole reasoning for them doing this?
It's a promotion for a company, right?
Yeah, they're getting paid.
Well, that's a good one.
Well, I guess they'll do anything for money.
They've got a tour of Australia coming up, and additional press. I'm not sure how many of those shows have sold out at this point. So, come on, this is KISS. Has KISS ever missed an opportunity to read their name in the press?
No.
They can go in the Guinness Book of World Records maybe for this. I don't know.
What, killing the most hammerhead sharks with one
start
song?
Jumping down the water onto the beach. They can't take it.
So I'm guessing it must be some sort of an acoustic show then, or something, if they're going to be playing on a relatively small boat then.
I don't think so. I'm sure they're going to play it loud.
It's
interesting.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one. We'll have to wait and see what if there's video of that.
I mean,
I gotta see.
Yeah, it kind of begs the question: is there anything KISS could kind of announce that would shock you? I mean, we all kind of laughed about it, but KISS is going to jump the shark. It just kind of writes itself. Is there anything that would be too much for them to do that you would actually be aghast? I mean, other than them announcing that they were going to record a new studio album and actually make some music, that would shock you.
I don't know. I mean,
live appearance on the space station.
Space station. Rocket ride.
Zero gravity concert by KISS.
Zero gravity. That would ease, Gene's foot pains that he has sometimes. So.
All right, so let's move on from there. Another topic was, I'm annoyed with all this Soul Station album talk. It seems that Paul's busy in the studio, doing this, doing that, putting the final seasoning. Mark, as a musician, are you tired of hearing about someone else's project on a daily basis and updates of what he's doing in the studio?
Well, of course, naturally my comment will be no, because, I find that most people actually enjoy those kinds of things. I think, though, as KISS fans, though, we kind of look at it with a, sort of 50-50 approach, because, one half of us are, excited to hear that there's something going on in the studio, but we always want it to be about KISS, so I think people would be a hell of a lot more excited if Paul was putting up posts, say, I'm in the studio working on a new KISS record. I think the board would be over inundated with tons and tons of, messages about that, of people finally, saying, well, yay, they're back in the studio. But, Soul Station is one of these things that I don't think sits too well with a lot of the people in the KISS community. I think that, I can't think of many people that say that, I like Soul Station as much as I like KISS. That's just not going to happen. So I think that while they're not being, while they're not exactly maybe being tired of the post, I'm sure a lot of them were wishing that it was about KISS and not Soul Station.
Yeah, and then the other half would be saying how Paul can't sing and shouldn't be doing a new KISS record, and how they hate KISS now. They checked out in 2001 because the farewell tour should have been blah, 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 blah. Ken, what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, that's fine that he wants to do this, and I guess, he enjoys. If he enjoys it, that's fine. I just kind of question how much soul is in this Soul Station band, because I see mostly just white guys. So I was like, where's the soul? I saw one black guy, but I don't know how much soul is really in this Soul Station. I think they're doing soul stall. I'm guessing remakes of soul songs from probably 60s and 70s, I'm going to guess, mostly. I would have rather have had Paul try to write some Motown type songs and have other famous people sing them. Kind of like, what Santana did, where he got singers sing his songs from different, genres or whatever, and have, Stevie Wonder sing a song, have Gladys Knight sing a song, whatever.
Or they could do R&B versions of Kiss songs, like R&B version of Read My Body or something.
Well, that would be interesting. It might be actually better that way than the original way. So you might have a point there, Mark.
Yeah, so, as far as it goes with Soul Station, I'm just glad to see Paul keeping busy and doing something, obviously, for himself. It's clear he's doing this for himself.
Yeah.
He's not thinking about what we think, and I hope he doesn't care what we say or what anyone says, because it's got to be for him. If he's really that enthused about it, and this, again, is the music that he was kind of growing up around, how many of us don't recognize a lot of that music? We've heard it. It's just part of the natural soundtrack of one's life. If he gets a kick out of it, if it's the only way he can go into the studio and do something now is singing that style, and he's challenged himself to make the very best kind of soul album that pays homage to some of the artists that he enjoys, then it's all fair. I don't know how interested I'm not going to be rushing out to the store to buy it. I'm not going to be buying a bundle with a T-shirt, bandana, a vinyl, and a CD. No, but I would like to see video clips. Remember Sonic Boom? How they did those little 1 minute long video clips of while it was being constructed.
Studio.
I would actually love to see that side of his creativity. Paul's a very creative guy. And this is his outlet for whatever need. Maybe it's his musical need. Maybe this is because he's got to make music and he can't make KISS music, so he's just doing it now for himself. I'll buy the product. Am I buying it to support Paul? No, I'm actually buying it because I'm freaking curious about what this is going to turn out as with that cast of characters who you see pictures of. Eric's on drums. Eric's got the chops and has done absolutely anything and everything in his history, so there's no problems there. But some of these other cats, I want to see how they play. I want to hear what Paul does. Does he do anything with the arrangements, or are they completely straight? So I'm curious. So no, I'm not annoyed by this album talk.
Well, who knows? It may turn out to be real good, real darn good and great. I don't know if it's going to be something like that does well. Like, remember when Rod Stewart did the, older songs or classic songs or something like that, and Barry Manilow did something too. Those guys sold a whole bunch of CDs doing that kind of thing, and I don't know if this will turn out to be something like that, and I don't know how much he's going to promote it, whether he's going to go into some morning shows or whatever. But it's I'll give it a chance. I'll check it out, and I hope it is good.
Yeah, I kind of figure it's going to sit right next to that Pat Boone Heavy Metal Memories.
Yeah, Pat Boone. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
All right. Let's go. All right, so into some of these more, I guess these are a little bit lighter and easier. The single most KISS unlike KISS song ever. What is the song that you think is the most opposite to the most kissy song that you can think of, Mark?
Yeah, well, you know what album I'm going to be referring to for my selection. And with that album in mind, there could only be one song that comes racing to my head when I think of most unkiss-like, and that has to be Great Expectations. To me, that song just never sat with me well at all. The whole, bells and piano and stuff like that. I honestly thought that one of the very first times I heard this, it almost reminded me of something that you would hear on a Walt Disney movie. You'd see some Prince come out and he starts singing this song to a princess. And it almost sounds like that kind of a Walt Disney-esque kind of song. Now that doesn't really surprise me too much, considering that, later on Gene Simmons did, a tribute to a Walt Disney kind of thing with Catch a Falling Star or whatever that one was, When You Wish Upon a Star. That's it, yeah. And so he has obviously links to that world of music as well, obviously. But it's not. There's nothing on there that's like cringeworthy. Like he doesn't like sing it out of pitch or anything. Everything is done top shelf. Like the performances are all fantastic, but it's just not a song that I would ever have expected Kiss to do. This sounds more like a Beatles thing more than almost a Kiss song. So to me, I've always thought that this is the real polar opposite to a Kiss song.
Why did I know exactly what you're going to pick before you even picked it?
Am I that predictable now?
No, but I think when you ask a sort of question like that, it's kind of stating the obvious in some ways. You kind of look at all the music that is un-Kiss-like in the catalog, the unusual stuff. Read My Body is one that kind of jumps out. I'm having a tough time really thinking about this one because I think a lot of the most un-Kiss-like music that they did was on Carnival of Souls. Even Great Expectations, I can imagine being done on a guitar and arranged around Ace and Peter and Paul and Gene instead of having the orchestral and kind of grandiose work or treatment that it did. So, I can see that being a traditional rock song much more than I can see something like Hate or Carnival of Souls. The title song itself, is very, very un-Kiss-like because it's just heavy noise. It's not really Carnival of Souls itself. It's just garbage. But, again, a lot comes down to taste. Ken?
Well, does it have to be a Kiss written song or not?
It's also recorded it, I guess.
Okay. Well, and actually, I was thinking of a couple different things. I mean, to me, Then She Kissed Me was one that I thought was definitely not a Kiss song. Now, when I think about the time period when Dynasty came out and I Was Made for Loving You, I heard that for the first time. That was so unlike Kiss at that time.
Yeah.
If you think of what came before that, that was a drastic change from everything that came before. So at that time period, and I felt it that way, even though I like the song, it's a good song. That was, at that time, the most unlike Kiss song in their catalog. Other than, Then She Kissed Me, which was a cover. So I kind of throw that, it's a cover as a cover, and it's not always going to sound like the band. But I'm going to say I Was Made for Loving You. Right now, we think of it as, it's a standard Kiss song and
exactly.
blah, because
technically it's a classic.
It's a classic, and we've heard it for so long. But back then, at that time period, when that album came out, I said, this doesn't sound anything like, Charisma sounds more like Kiss, than that, on the same album. So, that was a drastic change at that time.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to say that based on that time period, and I lived that period. I remember that happening at that time.
That's an excellent point because, when you think of it from that way, the timeline really it means a lot because, if, like you said, if that was a freshly released song like how you heard it, it must have been a shock. Just similarly to like how when Kiss fans heard The Elder for the first time and might have heard a song like The Odyssey and think, well, what the heck is this? This is really like cinematic and very like operatic compared to what Kiss has done before. So even something like that, even though we're so used to these songs now and think of them like a second nature Kiss songs, back at that time period though, it would have been probably quite the opposite.
Yeah, Odyssey was another one I was thinking of too, as you just mentioned. But the thing is, I'll tell you something else. I bought the 45, I Was Made for Loving You, when it came out, before the album came out. And I ended up playing the B-side a whole bunch more than the A-side. I was playing Hard Times all the time because that was more like Kiss.
Yeah.
I liked it better than I Was Made for Loving You. So... Julian.
Oh, sorry.
I thought I didn't know if you were frozen or
no.
something happened.
I was just deep. I was deep in thought. Fanfare would be a complete cop out. But
well, yeah.
Only You, very unkiss like. But then again,
yeah.
Shandy.
Yeah.
Yep, Shandy's one. Even, I mean, someone could say who lived at the time period, like you said, the timeline, Mark, when they got the destroyer and they heard, Beth, even. I know you picked the other one, but even Beth, that was a drastic change from what came before, too.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I've heard those people, like my sister's friends, who are constantly saying how different it was when it came out and how shocked they were and how they already thought that already at that point, KISS was heading down the toilet, and then luckily Rock and Roll Over came out, and then all was solved with those people.
Yeah.
No, that's some good topics and some good ideas there. Let's go into the original band member you believe is most responsible for KISS's success. And I think this goes above and beyond Kool-Aid, because I think we've mentioned, kind of what we think each member brought to the band, on previous episodes. And, my answer to that was Gene brought money, because he had stuff. He had security, and the other guys didn't. But who would be, from that mix of volatile characters, Paul, kind of the artistry, Ace, the je ne sais quoi, I'm going to fall over, I'm not going to fall over. He's got the undefinable, Peter, the anger and aggression and the driving backbeat and also unpredictability, volatility. And Gene, focus, drive, I mean, you really could. I mean, it's almost impossible to separate them out, but you have to. And which one of those is the most important in your view, and why? Ken?
Well, well, I think about the initial success. I mean, and then there's the continued success.
Yeah.
If you talk about for instance, the 80s after on one hand, in the very beginning, I would have to go with Gene with the more theatrical makeup, that sort of stuff, and his ideas at the beginning, his vision for the beginning period. But then it kind of switches over to Paul, right? And later on, in maybe late 70s and throughout the 80s, and then I don't know what, again, with Peter, you'd have a different. If you didn't have Peter, you would have a different sound. It's just like if we had Lonnie, that would be a different factor here.
Wow! Trying to balance month of September, boys. And a quarter. My boss's wife was here. I couldn't even pick up my phone to text you guys.
That's okay. Better late than never.
Yeah, now I just deleted all the topics that we talked about. Yeah, how do I undo on here? So Ken, continue. We're talking about which one of the original members of the band do we think were most responsible for the success?
So I mean, you could say, well, some people say, or Peter would say that because of Beth, they were successful, and they gave them life again or whatever. And then Ace is just a great classic guitarist. I mean, I can't see anybody else but him in being able to play those solos like he did in throughout the 70s. I don't know what it would be. Maybe, Bob Kulick would have, I'm sure, thrown out some pretty nice solos, and probably memorable too. But again, it's a lot of it's Gene in the early stages, beginning of the career, beginning of Kiss career, and then Paul throughout the 80s, and then after maybe the reunion, we know Paul's basically steering the ship, and I don't know if I'll call it full. They're successful. They're touring. They sell tickets, but I don't know if it could have been better or worse after that period. Being him or Gene in charge or whatever.
Yeah.
You raise an interesting thing about Bob, though, and I think people should go listen to the Michael Windroff albums that he played on. Because 73, 72, I think he was actually doing studio work with Michael, and of course Bruce did a session for one of the songs as well. So you want to know what a Bob solo sounds like in circa 1973? Spin those albums. Check the credits first to make sure I'm not making you play some crap that's completely unrelated.
Wait, who is this?
And obviously it's a different style of artist than Kiss, and so he's making it fit to what's there. Lonnie, let's go to you on the original band members that you think is most responsible for their success.
I think you can make the argument for any of the four. Really, I think you could make the argument for any of the four, and you wouldn't be wrong. Ken mentioned Peter bringing Beth to the table. Kiss had a lot of success with Alive, but were they going to be a flash in the pan type artists until Beth really sparked Destroyer and sparked their career? Ken mentioned Ace and his solo playing. He brought a certain sound, and Kiss. Gene and Paul mentioned it in that Kiss Extreme Close-Up video. Like, it was as soon as Ace plugged in and played with them, they're like, "Oh, this is the sound they had been looking for." Ace brought a certain style and a certain charisma to the band that they had been looking for. They couldn't find. So you can make the argument for Ace that he was the member that kind of put it all together. But there's Gene and there's Gene and there's Paul. There's Paul's vision, and Paul knew what he wanted and was going to go after it no matter what. And Gene, he has held that vision with Paul, and Gene was willing to throw anything at a wall to see what would stick, and was willing to do anything to be successful. But at the end of the day, I think I'd have to say, if you put a gun to my head, I think I'd have to say Paul Stanley would be the one of the four that is the most responsible, because he was the most driven, and he steered the ship in the 80s and kept Kiss going and gave them the longevity that they're still sustaining today. Kiss could have easily have folded in the early 80s if Paul had said, "You know what, enough, I'm done. I'm going to go form the Paul Stanley Band." Kiss would have ended. If Paul would have had that attitude, Kiss would have ended, and he very easily could have and no one would have blamed him at that point, looking back on history. So Paul Stanley, even though you couldn't make the argument for any of the four, for me, it's definitely Paul Stanley.
Fair enough, Mark, and do forgive the jets in the background. It's Fleet Week in San Francisco.
Everybody made excellent points. But for me, I kind of look at it like this. Gene Simmons, when they first started, was the guy who was, sending out all the invitations to the record people to come. He was the one who was responsible for bringing Bill Accoyd in to get them to come to the show to see them. If he wouldn't have done all that stuff and brought Bill in, would they have gotten the success they had at the very beginning? Probably not. I think that Gene is the catalyst behind their success, because all the stuff that happens later, none of that we would be talking about if the stuff at the beginning didn't happen. If Gene didn't do all that stuff at the beginning, and send out all those things and fax all those people and, use his office job to do all those things that he did beforehand, then the success later, there would be no talking about it, because there wouldn't be any. I think everything that happened at the beginning was mainly based around Gene, and I think that he's the one responsible.
Yeah, I agree with that outlook and perspective on it. The genes, Paul took care of the artistic side with the music, but Gene really got them in front of the people that mattered, or his efforts more so. But I don't think you can then subtract from it, the importance of the seasoning that Ace's lead work provided, or Peter's experience and and grift and attitude had. So it's a tough question. One I think is almost unfair to ask or to even try and answer, because again, it was about the magic of the four. Why they made it, and a good dose of luck, and Bill O'Coin and Sean Delaney and Neil Bogart and Joyce. So a lot more to it than just being a simple question. But none of us went to the Kool-Aid. That's awesome. Lonnie, I want to catch up with you with a question that we talked about earlier before you were able to join. And because you've been on the cruise, what was your take on KISS Kruise in the round and not having the sail away show on the first night? Yay, nay, and your positives and negatives on it.
I like the idea of KISS acoustic in the round. I think that would bring a different element to it, as opposed to going and seeing the same show like year after year after year. I mean, we've seen the acoustic shows set list, and they vary slightly, but they don't vary dramatically. So I think seeing them in the round, and on that ship, they have the stage to one far side of it. So you could be pretty far back actually watching that when you're paying a substantial amount of money to see the band play in that setting, but yet you're pretty far away. So I think the idea of them playing in the round and putting the stage in the middle of the pool deck is a really cool concept. Now, the idea of them not playing on opening for this, it's not actually the sail away show. It's actually two days into it or whatever it is. I don't like that. I think one of the coolest things about the cruise is that we're going to board the ship, and then as soon as we leave, bam, KISS is playing. We're on the KISS Kruise, and KISS is taking the stage, and they're playing for everyone on board. I thought that was one of the cooler aspects of it, and it really got you jacked up, during the day that, this is happening today. We're seeing KISS tonight, not, oh, well, it's the KISS Kruise, and we'll get to see KISS in 2 days. Or it's the KISS Kruise, and oh, well, they're doing a Q&A tonight. No, I'm here to see a KISS concert, not to hear Paul Stanley answer the same damn questions for the third, you know what I mean, over and over again. Why'd you take off the makeup type bullshit? I'm here to see KISS, and I was actually, my wife actually went on the cruise with me. We got engaged on the cruise, and I was telling her, I said, I was looking at the itinerary for the cruise. I said, listen to this. And I was telling her, she was like, well, that's really stupid. I mean, even she agrees that it's really stupid that they're not playing on opening. Julian, I'm curious, what's your take on it? Because you went on the cruise last year.
Yeah, and that was probably one of the things I was looking forward to the most, because it's kind of almost legendary. The sail away show. Everyone is there together. It's one of the, after your safety briefing, it's the thing. It's the thing, and I'd watched all the videos that people, all these multicams of previous years of it, so I was really looking forward to it. I had my camera on a 15-foot monopod sticking out of my cargo short pocket, so it was like 20 feet above the stage. I was getting multiple tequilas and all that. So I was looking forward to it, and I thoroughly loved it. Just to be there. I mean, obviously I've seen them acoustic before, but to see a full acoustic set and a great one, and just to see, I was looking around at people, and there are people bumping into each other who hadn't yet, seen each other on the cruise, and it's just like that first moment of everything. It was such a great scene to be in.
It's opening night. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, to be a part of. So taking it to the second night, and like you were just kind of mocking. I mean, well, what's your KISS-related event on the first night? Paul Stanley bedtime story?
Right. That's not why I'm here.
Yeah,
I think that's a misstep for sure.
But I am really interested to see how it pans out and how it works. And you know what? I will say fair play to them trying to change it up, and maybe there's more that's going to get announced. There's 3 weeks, and obviously I talked to Joe yesterday and did the update. We talked a little bit about all this as well. I was more shocked that they got rid of beer buckets. didn't know that happened.
That's even a bigger letdown.
You're on a cruise and there's no buckets. Gee, what is wrong with you people? So I'm willing to see how it goes. I'm concerned about how it will go because on a cruise ship, I just don't see how do you do a rotating stage. That doesn't sound very easy. That can be broken down. You're taking a lot of real estate away, I would assume. And again, I may be making an ass of myself by doing so. But it seems on a pool deck to take that amount of space out. And does that mean no one's going to be allowed up there on the first night because of them constructing the stage? Is it going to have that sort of logistical impact? How's it all work? How's it all play? Can't wait for the reports and hope everyone enjoys it, whatever happens. So, but no kiss on the first night.
Yeah.
Sucks.
That's totally great.
Yeah, maybe they'll throw Bruce in the fire and he'll give you a whole bunch of fantastic 80s kisses and make up for it like they did last year. Because
Bruce up to save the day.
Again. All right. Let's get into the last part of this, and this is 5 Lost Kiss Classics, and let me just read this one out. None of these are my own. Okay, so we all know about the end-of-the-road set list, and people will always have their own personal favorites, but let's try the songs that never made it into the live set list and maybe have been pretty much forgotten along the way. So, I don't know if I can operate within those parameters, so we'll just do it our way anyway. 5 Lost Kiss classics that you really think should be performed live by the band before the end. Mark?
Well, the first song that comes instantly into my head is going to be Naked City. I mean, we've been asking for that song for who knows how long now. And we were keeping our fingers crossed that Gene would do it with his solo band, and we never got to see it with that. And, it's still possible they could do it. I mean, Gene has to sing it, not Paul. So it's just a matter of them learning it and, getting up there and doing it. And I think it's really a fantastic song. I mean, there are people that have asked for that song. I'm surprised it's fallen on deaf ears. I know that much, a song asked that many times before from them, then I think that they would do it by now. But Kiss seems to ignore these kind of requests.
Yeah, no, that's a great pick. I saw Ken nodding approvingly. I know I would agree with you. I'm going to throw my first pick would have to be, I think, Mr. Speed. It's the one the fans, I think, have asked for the most. That's never really made it. I know it made it onto some of the cruises, but again, I know why they wouldn't do it. And, I don't know whether Paul could do it justice now either. But it's got such a great vibe. It's so fun. It's just so rock and roll-y, He'd have to tell them which album it came from.
Yeah.
Who knows? Ken?
Yeah, I mean, I like Mark's pick because we've always wanted to hear that one. I pick another one. I pick Charisma. Even though we know we've had Gene's, but Kiss hasn't done it. I would have loved to hear their take on it live. I think it would be, pretty darn cool and loud, which it should be. But there's other ones too, but I think that one I would enjoy just as much as Naked City.
Yep.
Lonnie?
Mine's one. Well, Mr. Speed was actually my number one, but Julian took that. So I'm going to go with my second one, which is something that they haven't done. It's something they have done, but it's something they haven't done, and they've done on the cruises. Maybe I don't even know if they've done it on a cruise, and that's Let Me Know. It's maybe my favorite song off the first album. It has such a great classic Kiss vibe with Gene. And I know last week I kind of went off on the idea of having Gene and Paul sing on the same song, but Let Me Know isn't forced with Gene and Paul singing on the same song. And it sounds so natural, and it just has a great, just classic Kiss vibe and beat and guitar sound to it. And they've played really every song off that first album so much, except for Love Theme from Kiss or Kiss in Time, and this song. This song's like the one, like you could say, quote unquote, real song off that first album that they really have given no love to at all.
Yeah.
In forever. I think they may have played it on a cruise, maybe played it acoustically on the cruise or something like that. Even I don't know if they played it electrically on the cruise. But I think it's a real shame that they haven't. I really, really love that song. So that'd be way up there for me.
That would be such a good pick as well. When you think of it, when Gene Simmons meets Paul Stanley for the first time, and Gene says, "So you write songs, huh? Play one." And Paul Stanley plays Sunday Driver, Let Me Know. And, I mean, come on. I mean, end of the road, beginning of the road.
Play that.
Yeah. Just the story that it could be introduced as, I mean, I would love to pick one off the first album, and I would love to see them be, for that same reason, be bringing back Acrobat. Love Theme from Kiss into the Too Young part, because it's got story. Here's one we used to do at the Daisy. And when we say never made it into the set list, I'm just approaching it, never made it into the set list properly, because, these were songs that Let Me Know was done, through Alive, really.
Yeah, and that's really it.
And then that is essentially it. So, Mark, why don't you give us another one of your picks?
Well, I think that another one that's kind of along the same thinking is Anything for My Baby. I think that that's one of those songs off of Dressed to Kill that I thought was a pretty catchy song, and I don't know if they've ever did play that live or not. If they did, it's probably one of those obscure sort of cruise ship songs that they played, but I always thought it was a fairly catchy song, and one of those ones that signifies the kind of Kiss sound that they had around that time. They were very much all about those harmonies and that sort of drumming thing. I mean, Peter Criss goes back to that, floor tom snare drum thing like he does in Rock and Roll All Night on that as well here. So it's kind of like, he's hinting back to that kind of drumming style that he likes to play. And I think it's just a catchy song, and it's not a long song. And, I don't think it would be very difficult for them to pull that one off. It's not very challenging, I think, as some of the other songs might be that we are going to pick.
Yeah, doesn't have too many lyrics to forget either, does it? So,
yeah.
But that was going to be my next pick, and I just love how just basic rock and roll it is. It's just good times 70s rock and roll, not anything spectacular, but really catchy and bubblegummy, and just easy, just to kind of groove to. Ken.
Yeah, I'm going to pick another actually song from Alive 2, the side 4, Larger Than Life. I think that would be just an awesome song for them to play. Yeah. It's big and bombastic. It would fit in with, for easily live. I mean, no doubt. It has that feel anyway. And I'd love to hear that, bombastic, drums, and hear Eric's take on it, and Tommy's, attempt at a Bob Kulick solo. I think it would be pretty darn cool.
Lonnie,
I'm gonna go with Magic Touch. I thought it sounded fantastic when Paul Stanley did it on the Live to Win tour. And I think it would. I'd love to hear a proper Kiss version of the song. I mean, I don't think I think that's the only time that song's ever even been attempted was on the Paul Stanley solo tour. I don't think Kiss has even attempted it on a cruise. Well, actually, it's a funny. I don't think they've ever attempted it on a cruise or anything like that. It's actually funny that the cruise that I went on, we started shouting, the crowd started shouting, I stole your love, I stole your love. So Paul Stanley says, okay, we'll do it. And so they played I Stole Your Love. So then people started chanting, Magic Touch, Magic Touch. And Paul Stanley goes, Eric doesn't know how to play Magic Touch. And Becky looked at me and she goes, no, you don't know how to play Magic Touch.
So hey, at least they got a tape of it from Live to Win.
Right. So I love I've always loved that song and was ecstatic when he did it on Live the Wind Tour. So I'd love to hear a proper Kiss version of that.
Excellent. I'm gonna go with a pick from Unmasked. What Makes the World Go Round. That was one of the songs that I really, really liked. And, in the time that I was becoming a fan and going through this vast amount of cassette tapes that I was rapidly accumulating on a weekly basis, there wasn't much that stuck out for me on Unmasked other than Naked City, She's a European, and When the World Goes Round. And I just think, again, it's just a really good poppy rock song that, hell, never been in the set, so why not chuck it in there? Mark?
Well, another song that I was thinking about them putting back in, or doing, and this would involve getting Eric Singer to sing as do Mainline. I mean, there's a song that they haven't really done very often, and an opportunity to have Eric sing, I think, is a good idea, because again, it would give Paul a bit of a break. And plus, Eric's such a great singer. I mean, I don't think he gets enough, chances to sing like a rock song. I mean, he's up there now doing Beth. I mean, but great. That's like a ballad. He has such a great rock and roll voice. Why not let him go and do a couple of songs that are, more in the rock and roll vein? And I think Mainline, while it's not the, biggest rockinest song in the world, but it would give him a chance to do more of his rock singing than he would in like a song like Beth. So my vote goes definitely for Mainline. I think that it would be a good song for him to do.
Yep, anytime Eric sings is good. Ken?
I think I would pick from Lick It Up, A Million to One. I think that would be pretty awesome. Now, can Paul sing that now? I don't know. But I think that song always should have been played or been a single and played live when the album came out. That should have been one of the choices. I just think that song is way overlooked as a great song in the Kiss catalog by Kiss themselves. So yeah, one.
Yep, one of many. Lonnie?
Yeah.
I'm going to pick something that comes off an album that, not just a song that they've ignored, but an album they've completely ignored. And that's Hate off Carnival of Souls. I'd love to see them do that. Now, will they ever do that on a arena show? Absolutely not. But I would love to be sitting at my desk in a couple weeks and all of a sudden it pops up that they played Hate last night at the Electric Show on the cruise. How cool would that be? Play something off the Carnival of Souls for once. And if you're going to do something off Carnival of Souls, for me, Hate is the song they do off, because it's just dirty and grungy, and Gene could sing it and wouldn't have to worry about other things. So,
like the lyrics,
right? Yeah. Well, they have teleprompters on the cruise, so he could read off a teleprompter. So I'd love to hear something off Carnival of Souls, and if there was one song off Carnival of Souls to pick for me, it would be Hate. I'd love to see them at least attempt it. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Gene in makeup, just imagine. Blood dripping underneath.
Hate is what I am.
Of a man banging his chest.
Freaking awesome.
Yeah.
The visuals, and you totally represented just what I was going to ask for. They have to do something off Carnival of Souls before the end, live in concert. My pick is Jungle. Because,
fun too.
Again, the groove of it, it's a total Deep Purple groove going there. I think Eric can sing a lot of that song as well. I would love to see Gene playing that bass line.
Yeah, fun too.
Yeah.
Just because he's better than people think he is. Yes, don't let the guy fool you. He can actually drive that car. He doesn't just wear it and sell them. I just think it's a really great groove song that they could really kill live. And up it in terms of lead guitar work. Just let Tommy wail. Let him solo all over the place on that one. And also integrate lights and fire into, make it a whole show itself. It's a 6-minute song. Maybe they can chop it down a little bit, but I think they could have a lot of fun with it in terms of the dynamics of how it's presented live. And again, Eric singing it, drumming it, Paul rapping, doing his thing. I think it could be a really great thing that makes people say, this is a really unusual KISS song. This is a very un-KISS-like song, going back to that earlier topic. And it might actually, I might get them to go out and get an album, but unlikely, considering it's mostly diehards up there, and they don't know most of it, or the other people don't know most of the songs anyway. But it'd be cool. All right, how about one more pick each, and then we'll go back to Lonnie for a couple of the early topics, so you can have his say. Mark.
Okay, well, the one that I'll pick then is "See You in Your Dreams." I mean, that's one song that I think that's out of all the songs off of Rock and Roll Over that they played a lot off of that record, and rightly so. It's one song that they rarely ever do, or rarely ever did, and I don't think it's a terrible song. But it's definitely a deep cut if you think about it, because they don't ever, they've never performed it. They've never even hinted at doing it. I mean, Gene obviously likes it enough that he redid it on his solo record, but why not pull it out and do it on a tour, especially now when everything's coming to an end. I mean, it's a song that I think would surprise people just as much as some of the other selections that we picked earlier on. So my vote has to go for "You See You in Your Dreams."
Nice pick. Great album. Ken.
All right. I was thinking maybe a crowd participation song a little bit. I think it could be somehow. And maybe inserted in place of Crazy Nights.
Read My Body.
And off the same album. No.
Damn it.
I'm thinking Turn on the Night.
Oh yeah. You win.
I think that would. I think you could get people's, saying "Turn down the night," during that. So have the crowd participation, but I think it would just be a great song. It is a great song, and it should be, in my opinion, played live at least one time for the fans, because it's one of the better songs on that album.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Yes. Lonnie, how about one last one from you?
One last one for me. I'm going with "It's My Life." I love that song, and I'd love to hear them do it. I wish they would have released it in a better capacity than what they have. I know Julian is not a big fan of the version that wound up on the box set, but I actually enjoyed that version of it. I really enjoyed that song, and I wish it would have ended up on Psycho Circus, and I wish that they would have done it live, because I think it's a very anthem-like KISS song, and I feel like it could have. I don't think it would have sparked Psycho Circus into being a great album and being accepted by all, but I think it could have been made Psycho Circus more, or made Creatures of the Night more, for that matter. Or if they didn't want to use it on Creatures, they should have saved it for Lick It Up. It would have been a great song for Lick It Up, right when they took the makeup off. I think it would have worked well there too. So it's actually one of my favorite KISS songs, and I would love to hear the band actually play it. So that's my pick.
That's a nice one.
Good pick.
I was trying to think of a last pick, something like Sweet Pain, or but I think what would work very nicely in concert is something off their final studio album, Right Here, Right Now.
Ooh, that's good too.
I think Paul could do a real good intro to that, about the importance of enjoying everything that's going on right here, right now. It would just be it's a very celebratory song, very positive, uplifting, and it's off the album that's completely unrepresented so far on this tour with Tommy and Eric. So
yeah.
That's my thought. Lonnie, I want to just go back to some of the topics that we talked about earlier.
Yep.
And what are your thoughts on I'm annoyed with all this Soul Station album talk. Are you annoyed at all this Soul Station album talk? What are your just kind of thoughts on that project?
I don't know. I'm not annoyed with all the Soul Station album talk. I don't. If you're interested in getting it, great. If you don't want to get the albums, well, then don't get it and hit the little mute button on your phone so you stop seeing that kind of crap if it bothers you that much. When I see posts on my phone from people from high school, why do I need to see another picture of your kid? You know what? I just mute the person so I don't have to see it anymore. So if you don't like it, just you can structure your life so you don't have to see it if you're annoyed by it. I'm interested in it. I mean, I'm like most KISS fans. I'm a sheep. I'll buy it when it comes out just because I'll want to check it out. Will I listen to it past the first week that I buy it? Probably not. But I'll still buy it just to check it out because I am what KISS preys on as a sheep KISS fan.
All right, that's a quick take on KISS to play the shark boat off South Australia. What?
Sharks deserve music. Sharks deserve music too. That's my take on that. I think it's. You know what? If Metallica can play Antarctica, why can't KISS play for sharks? I guess.
That's a good point.
I don't know. I didn't click on the link to see what are they charging to get on board for that, so you can be a part of that. Do you know, Julian?
No, it was cheap though. It was.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's only 500 people, something like that, I think.
Yeah, really? I thought it was like $50 a head, or Australian. So.
Well, I'd do that if I do it. Then if I was down.
Oh yeah.
$50 for a KISS concert? Count me in.
Yeah.
Yeah, how the hell is Simmons going to charge all those sharks for the meet and greet? So that's just
right. And did the sharks get anything signed, or is it pre-signed? I don't know.
All right, I think we can leave this one there. Since that is the end of the show, Mark, do you want to give everyone an update on Project Gemini and where you're at with that?
Just really quickly, I will be posting a video tonight about the pre-order of the CD version of my record. The pre-sale will start tomorrow, which is October 11th. So get in early because there are some things I'll be offering, and usually these things kind of go quickly, like the executive producer thing that I usually offer. Those two things went exceptionally quickly. Like within the half an hour, they were both gone. So if you want to get in on that, then you're gonna have to jump in right away tomorrow and grab it. But there's there's some other cool things that I'm offering this time around too. So check it out. I'll put the video up on the Project Gemini Facebook page, and it'll be on YouTube as well. So if you're interested, check it out. And thank you again for all your support.
Yeah, my hands are going to be off the executive producer credit this time, so someone else can have a shot at it. I've had my little fun there, so have at it and support Mark on this project. That's very cool, Mark, and also congratulations on the first single. I've listened to it quite a few times, thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope people enjoy this album as much as they've enjoyed your previous offerings. So
thanks.
Oh, cool. All right. I think that's it for this week until the next show I record tomorrow. So for now, from Mark, from Ken, from Lonnie and myself, thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Go Cardinals. Go Cardinals.
Yeah, Bengals. What about the Bengals, Lonnie?
We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that.
Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final. There are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the KissFAQ message board and discuss the topic we've broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.